Well, in Canada, we are a nation of diverse people. We believe in equity and we believe in inclusion. So all the Americans over there with their DUI, they can hate us and they can tell us they don't want to see us on our streets, but these streets belong to us. This country belongs to us, and we will never, ever, ever kiss that gangster's ring. It's elbows up time, people. Elbows up. Elbows up.
Clayton DeMaine, I'm here with True North in front of the U.S. Embassy. There's a protest going on called an Elbows Up anti-Trump, anti-American protest. We saw protesters gathered right outside of the embassy. NDP MP Charlie Angus told people not to leave, that they would stand their ground.
We are not a 51st state, and this is our city. Yes. This is not an American city.
Yes. Elbows up, elbows up, elbows up.
Once a official from the embassy came out to talk to him, they moved the protest across the street.
Okay, so let's all head over and we'll just head on.
The protest gathered about 50 to 60 people, all with a similar message, very anti-Trump sentiments and pro-Canadian sovereignty as well.
We've had really disturbing stories of people being taken off to ICE detention centers, people being deported, people with proper visas who are working in the country legally. What it's done is send a terrible chill. And my advice is that if we don't have a government in the United States where the rule of law applies, where our consular officials can make sure people are being held and looked after safely, then travel to the United States is something people shouldn't be doing.
Okay, and you said you wanted to strip Elon Musk of his citizenship. Was that a realistic thing, and why do you think that we should?
Well, you can't strip someone's citizenship with a petition, but it sure sent a message, and it sure pissed Elon off. And if it pisses Elon off, it must be a good day.
Do you think a protest like this, what kind of message do you think this will send to America that Canadians are here right now?
What you're seeing all across Canada is Canadians are unified, Canadians are proud, Canadians are sure of themselves, and I think the message to America is, I see such division in America. I see such fighting internally in America. You don't see that in Canada. We're together, and we're here very peacefully. So, and if they ask us to leave, we'll leave peacefully. But boy, if you try and take our country, well, it'll be elbows up.
Not a supporter of the PC party or Pierre Poilievre. I think that Poilievre is just like Trump. He's our version of that, and if he is our prime minister, we are going to be the 51st state, and the things that are happening in the U.S., we are going to start to see happen here as far as injustice and inequality goes. That's what's going to happen here, and that's not what Canada is about. And it's not just about sovereignty, right? It's about right and wrong. And a lot of what's happening in the States is just flat out wrong. Mass deportations, inequality, taking away trans rights, all of those things, it's wrong. It's not what Canada stands for, and it is very much what Poilievre stands for. So he does not stand for the Canadian values.
I'm shocked at what I see, and I really need to get out and say to those people that sat on the couch, this is what you get when you do nothing. And so here's the situation. We're not going to do nothing. We're off the couch. We're in the street. It's cold out here. We're Canadian. We'll suck it up. It's no problem. Bring it. We're here. We will stop you. They only understand one thing, honestly. And as much as I'm not a violent man, it's a punch in the nose. So unfortunately, with the tariffs, we've got to respond in kind, if not even over the odds. Mark Carney, we're talking about a guy that's a banker. He's, but I'm okay with that. This is a trade war. So I'm okay with a guy who knows how to do that kind of stuff. So I think we'll go up the middle this time. I think, and that's liberal, just to be clear. And I think that the far right is a movement that will combust, because I don't believe the Canadian people want that, and I think they've been sold a bag of goods, and I think those people changed after they got into office.
And just to clarify, are you saying that Pierre Poilievre is the far right?
I'm saying that he wants to cash in on the far right. I'm not saying he is the far right. I think he's a wolf in sheep's clothing. I don't think he really gives a damn about us. So if he did, he would get in line and he would defend Canada. And even though he's yelling, I think that's just propaganda.
So what does it mean to be a fascist?
It means to be a right-wing authoritarian leader who has a disdain for democratic norms and likes to scapegoat various minority groups who you claim are causing the country's problems. I'm thinking about voting for Mark Carney and the Liberals this time around. He has worked not only in the Bank of Canada, he's also worked at the Bank of England. He has very good international ties. I think that I just saw him the other day meeting with the leaders of France and the UK, and it's just such a difference because he can actually get along with people. He doesn't go and attack them like Trump did with Zelensky or with us, for example. Typically, I'm an NDP supporter, but the stakes in this election are just so high, and I don't want to even take a slight risk of having Trump in the White House and then having Pierre Poilievre here doing whatever Trump wants. Of all the federal leaders, he would be the one most willing to roll over for Donald Trump because he's made his whole image and brand off of a Donald Trump type negativity and divisive politics. And he's trying hard to rebrand himself now and pretend like he's Captain Canada, but that only started when Trump got into office and Canadians turned against him really fast. So I think that Pierre Poilievre would be terrible for our country.
I drove today for 4 hours to attend this function as a sign of solidarity, actually, between our American friends that we've been friends with for decades and ourselves. And this invitation goes to all Kamala Harris and Tim Walz voters, but also to anyone who's feeling remorse for having voted for Donald and not getting what they thought they were getting, cheaper eggs. Instead, they're getting fascism, almost, dictatorship. What you guys are going through has solidified our resolve to never let that happen up here. Mr. Carney, first of all, is funny. He is a seasoned professional with regard to finance. He has a career. He is world renowned. He's pretty elegant and dignified looking on a world stage. And I think he will be able to combat the current Oval Office holder in a more intellectual way than his opposition. I think that Mr. Poilievre has been way too familiar with, actually word for word in different videos, you will hear his words reflected by Trump's words and vice versa. So that's quite terrifying. It might have empowered him at one time, but the way that this presidency is actually working out, elbows up, is not helping Mr. Poilievre at all.
I'm a Canadian citizen who has lived in the U.S. before, so I'm very knowledgeable about what it's like down there. The United States does not share our values. They've turned diversity, equity, and inclusion into a slur. In Canada, it's part of our values. It's important for people of all backgrounds, all ethnicities to be able to be welcome, to have the same opportunities so that they can thrive. And so I guess I'm here just to say that there is no Canadian, no real Canadian that wants to be an American, right? We're proud of our country, we're proud of our values, and we'll fight for them. I was an NDP supporter for over a decade. When I heard that conservatives were going to be registering for the Liberal leadership race, I resigned my NDP, I registered as a Liberal, and now I'm behind Mark Carney.
So despite this being billed as a Canada unity protest against America, I haven't talked to a single person who had a positive thing to say about Pierre Poilievre. There's a lot of left-wing voters here. Some of them are historically NDP supporters, but are saying they will be supporting Mark Carney in the next federal election because the stakes are too high.